Can you talk about teachers pay teachers? I was looking into your portfolio, and that was one of the most fascinating models. Can you just explain how that worked again, and maybe any cool stories that came out of the investment?
Yeah, Teachers Pay Teachers was a marketplace where teachers bought and sold their content and curriculum from each other. So if you, I think CJ, you got really young kids, like maybe when they're a couple years older, you'll walk into a classroom and you'll be like, holy cow, like what's all this stuff on the walls? They're like doing different activities every day. A teacher in the classroom has to come up with all that stuff. And that's a ton of work, particularly for a new teacher who's entering the profession. And so the idea behind Teachers Pay Teachers, and a lot of this is what I love about the internet, is democratization of content. Like you think about what Wikipedia did, you think about what any, podcasting even, like you can find expertise like anywhere. And so the idea was like, let's let teachers who create great content share that with the world and then monetize that. And so Teachers Pay Teachers was a marketplace that enabled that to happen. The stat that always gets people's attention is the time we sold the business, our top teacher was making about $1 million a month on the platform selling her content. So there was quite a bit of scale. And people were making a lot of money doing this. But what was really rewarding for me, I remember going to their user conference right after we had led the investment. And honestly, CJ, it was like a church revival, like going in there, seeing the impact that the platform had on people's lives. There was one woman that got so excited jumping up and down that she tore her ACL. So like it has sent somebody to the hospital, but like that was the kind of like enthusiasm that was in the room. And again, not everybody was $1 million a month teacher, but like, for a teacher getting an extra $2,000, $5,000, $30,000, like that really, really makes a difference. And seeing the impact that the company had on teachers' lives was personally very rewarding.
Thanks for telling that story. I wanted to try to pull something like that out of you because I do think it shines a light on the beauty of some of these consumer businesses. Like it actually helps people like at the individual level. It's not always as clear to tie the benefit in some of these B2B businesses.
For sure. Like I think it was the one time and probably the only time in my career where myself and one of my partners were in tears and looking at each other like, don't tell anybody about this. But like hearing the stories that, again, the impact that we're having on people's lives, like all across the country was pretty spectacular. And, again, you see that across Headspace, the stories and letters they get from users were so impactful. Even something like Grubhub and Seamless, like helping small businesses scale and reach more customers was pretty valuable.
And I think that's the mark of any amazing consumer business or consumer marketplace where you see people creating their own small businesses on it. We interviewed Chuck Fisher, the CFO of Turo, the peer-to-peer car marketplace. And he said, I have this guy that has over 1,000 cars, a fleet of 1,000 cars in California. Like he's running not just a small business, he's running a very large business.
Yeah, for sure. Like our top creators at Kajabi, make a lot of money every year, and they're micro businesses. Like, they've got employees and publicists and content creators, and it's pretty amazing. So you're definitely helping the small and medium sized business community with a lot of these platforms.